Let's get back to the lines. Here's Raf. Good morning, Raf.
Hi, good morning.
Do you have hemochromatosis?
No,
Okay.
but ironically, just last Friday, I was told that my ferritin level. I don't remember the exact number, but it's above 1,000. And I guess I had some sort of abdominal discomfort over the past few months, and went through a slew of tests. But most recently, that showed up as something of concern. And I was just wondering, I guess, in the process of waiting for other tests and such, is it advisable to start donating blood right away?
Dr. Adams?
Well, I think we need more information about what other kind of tests you have elevated. As Bob said, the transferrin saturation is another complementary iron blood test, and if that's elevated as well, that would lead more towards hemochromatosis. Your liver blood tests, your enzymes, AST and ALT.
Actually, those were slightly elevated.
Yep.
But they were,
all of these blood tests can go up in hepatitis, like hepatitis C or hepatitis B.
Yeah,
Regular alcohol consumption can be the culprit as well. So, you've got to think about some of those, and as those tests are done and there are still no answers, you may be a person that should have the genetic blood test done for hemochromatosis.
You mentioned the number 1,000, Raf. Dr. Adams, what would be normal saturation?
Normal in a man would be less than 300, in a woman less than 200. 1,000 is kind of a number that starts to make us get a little more involved in investigating. There's a large number of people that have very mild elevations in ferritin, say less than 500, 300 to 500. That's a pretty low yield investigating that. But when you get over 1,000, you do tend to find something going on.
And with respect to the other liver enzymes being slightly high or whatever, I take it that even if Raf in his case had a few drinks and that had put that up, I take it that normally the liver, if it's a normal liver, it would tend to heal itself, wouldn't it? And if he stayed away from alcohol, those levels would sort of go back to normal. Right?
Yeah, that's one of the kind of diagnostic tests. If, for example, the genetic test was done and was normal, we'd probably recommend, if he was drinking every day, to just stop completely for 2 months and see if these numbers start to come down.
Yeah.
And if they do, that's suggestive that alcohol is the culprit.
So then if he goes back, though, and he still has a high iron level, then things are looking like, he may be on track for hemochromatosis or something.
Yeah, and of course, if he told us that his brother has the same problem, that's a very powerful bit of information, too.
Anything in your family background like that, Raf?
Not that I know. I've asked around, and nothing has come up there. I guess one question I had with that number, again, is you had just mentioned, Doctor, false positives and things like that.
Yep.
How could other causes bring the level up to ferritin as well to that number? Like
No. It can go much higher than that and not be iron overload. And in fact, when you take all comers, say, that come to my clinic with high ferritin, most of the people don't have hemochromatosis.
Oh.
Most of them have something else. So this doesn't definitely mean that you have iron overload or hemochromatosis. You need to have more testing done to nail that down.
That's good news.
All right. All the best to you, Raf. Hope things work out for you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for the call.
Get that other testing.
Yeah, you recommend getting the other
testing. Get that other testing.
Yeah.
Yes, it was those iron-related sort of testing.
Yes, the transferrin saturation percentage, which will work towards your TIBC, your total iron binding capacity, and then that's
which were in fact ordered right away.
Good, and get those, and then your doctor sounds like he knows what he's looking for, and then move on from there.
All right, thank you for your call, Raf. All the best to you, Raf.
Thank you very much.
Dr. Adams, are we approaching a time where we're going to be able to treat this genetically? In other words, are we going to be able to get inside a person's genome and try to alter this in some way?
Well, gene therapy, it's one of the great promises for the future of medicine. It's one of those things that maybe just around the corner and maybe always will be. it's not without some hazard. There was a research center in Philadelphia offering gene therapy for some more life-threatening illnesses, and several people died as a result of the treatment. So that place was shut down, and human research in this area has been very slow since then. There's been quite a bit of this done in research animals and so on, and the techniques are improving, but, we have such a safe and effective treatment with phlebotomy that I think it's very unlikely that we'd recommend the risk of gene therapy in this disease.
So really, education is where we have to go with this.
Yeah,
and then
that's
after
right.
That, it's reasonably approachable. Let's say good morning to Norma. Hello there, Norma. Thank you for waiting.
Yes, thank you. I would like to ask the doctor, our son has hemochromatosis, and he has just found out in the last year. Now, my husband and I have both been tested, and we don't seem to be carrying it. But I'm wondering, is there a connection between hemochromatosis and polycythemia?
Well, first of all, when you say you and your husband don't carry it, you would have to carry the gene for your son to have it. So what you may mean is that you've had iron tests done and your iron tests are normal.
Assuming the son, excuse me for interrupting, assuming the son wasn't adopted, I suppose.
No.
Right, okay.
No, and we did have blood tests done for
Okay, you probably didn't have the genetic test done. You probably just had your iron test done, and most people who carry one gene do have normal iron tests.
Okay.
But each of you would have to carry the gene if your son has typical hemochromatosis.
Okay.
The question polycythemia has come up quite a bit before. There have been some reports that hemochromatosis people might have a slightly higher hemoglobin in the blood than others. It's been hard to prove that, but it has been described before.
But is the frequency of having phlebotomies done, is that with the severity of the disease? Is that the way they...
And the age of the patient and so on.
He's 51.
Yeah, we would probably start off at once a week.
Okay.
We've occasionally done it twice a week in a young person.
I think he's only had it like once in a month or something.
Well, maybe he doesn't have hemochromatosis.
Well, that's what they've diagnosed. But anyway, I just...
Well, check to see whether he's had the genetic test done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and you said we should have it done then differently than just... We had blood work done, and that was supposed to be what it was for. But
start with him and make sure he's had the genetic test.
Okay.
And if he's got the typical genetic profile, then you and your husband both carry a gene.
Okay.
And there'll be more information about all of that on our website at www.toommuchiron.ca or by calling our office at 1-877-BAD-IRON.
Okay.
Yeah, 1-877-BAD-IRON.
Okay.
Okay, look it up. It is an excellent website. It really is.
Okay, thank you.
All right, good luck. Thank you, Norma. Let's go to Linda very quickly. We're almost out of time here. Good morning, Linda.
Good morning. I'm actually a volunteer with Bob's organization. Hi, Bob.
Oh, wonderful.
Hi, Linda. How are you?
Good, thank you. I just want to, I know we've only got a few minutes left in your show, and I'm one of the lucky people that was diagnosed prior to any damage in my body in 2001. However, know that my father suffered for many, many years undiagnosed and died in 1990 after repeated medical tests. They could never figure out what was wrong with him. He had been somebody who he actually fell into a deep depression. It really basically looked as though his whole body was just, he was very, very sick and had the permanent tan look, the whole thing. Once I found out that there was such a thing as hemochromatosis and I started reading about it, I was quite sure that I had it, and I fall into that category, Dr. Adams, where I really didn't have high numbers. I was just over 500, and I really had not really any symptoms, but my doctor is a very cautious doctor, and she happened to check ferritin levels and saw that mine was high, and she monitored me for over 2 years, just saying, keeping an eye on it. And so I started doing some reading and thought, you know what, I'm pretty sure I've got it. And basically what happened is I was de-ironed once genetic testing was done, and I was determined to have hemochromatosis. Today, I'm a blood donor with Canada Blood Services, and I really don't donate blood all that often, only once or twice a year, because in my case, I happen to have kind of a low hemoglobin. I'm a very active person, healthy in every other way, and in my family, because they do want families to be tested, both my mother and my brother were tested. They have it. However, they can't donate blood because they have other health issues. I've come across, while I've been working on awareness, an individual who's really about the same as myself, and unfortunately, they have found out that they have hemochromatosis way too late in the game. They've been de-ironed, but now they've found out that they have cirrhosis, and they also have cancer. So this person is not a happy story. So it's just so important that we have something like a protocol in place so that people can be tested and found out prior to any type of damage. And it's really a perfect win, because things like Canada Blood Services are, constantly looking for blood donors. Well, I'm a perfect match.